Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. We each develop our own unique style of communication throughout our lives. The manner in which a speech is delivered has as much importance as the content itself. Depending on what we're trying to accomplish, there are a variety of different speaking techniques that one can employ. Now, I'm an abstract thinker, and as such, I often communicate ideas in a generalized, overarching form with lots of details, the goal of trying to enlighten the audience to the ideas and concepts that I'm trying to portray. In other words, my natural preferred way of speaking is to lecture the way a professor might lecture a classroom. Lecturing can be effective under certain conditions, like I said, classroom setting. However, by and large, it's simply not the most effective way to engage an audience. Although my natural tendency is to simply portray the information in a concise and clear manner so that the audience can learn, the most often engaging an audience through storytelling is a more effective in both teaching as well as keeping the audience's interests. My own style is to both preach and to lecture, but I hope to learn and incorporate storytelling into my speaking repertoire. I'll illustrate this with a lecture about stocks, followed by another approach, a storytelling about bonds. One way a company can raise money is by selling portions of its ownership or shares of itself. The owners of these shares own a small percentage of the company and are thus entitled to portions of the profit that they take in. They also allow the holders to take part in company votes. These partial ownerships are called stocks. The first company to issue stock was the Dutch East India Company. In order to raise money for trading ventures, it sold stock to investors all over Europe, allowing them to accumulate large amounts of money that would have been otherwise possible. In return, the company shared some of its profits with these stockholders. That means that ordinary people like you and me can go online and buy stock from a variety of different companies such as Apple, Walmart, Amazon, even Walt Disney. Stocks can gain or lose value, but over time, if the company does well, they tend to increase in value. People within the workforce can save a little bit of their income over time, placing them in a retirement fund, which is, in effect, a conglomeration of many different stocks. A steady stream of monthly percentages of a person's income can add up over the course of a person's career, allowing them to retire comfortably. Now, that was more of like a lecture. I didn't tell any story, I just presented the information as it was, and that can be effective in a classroom setting, but it can bore people to tears, to be totally honest. So let me try a different approach, and this is what I'm trying to incorporate into my own communication style, more of a storytelling approach that really keeps the audience's interest. So let me tell you a story about Mike. Mike works at an office job at an adoption agency. He's a married man who works long hours, helping people to achieve their dream of having a child and raising a family. Mike is frugal, always putting away a portion of his income every month into a savings account. He wants to retire early. Now, one day, Mike realizes that the interest in his bank account is hilariously small. So he looks over for other ways he can let his retirement savings grow. He sees a financial advisor who tells Mike that companies and even the government sometimes need to take out loans. So they issue a multitude of smaller loans called bonds, which can be bought at a fixed price, just like any loan. The company that sells the bonds pays the bearer a certain amount of interest per year, say 10%. The company pays the bearer 10% of the amount he initially paid in per year until a certain date, at which the company simply pays back the initial amount he originally bought it for. Mike uses his life savings to purchase a variety of different bonds from different companies, all with different lengths. As his advisor tells him the importance of diversifying his savings, Mike continues to be frugal, and with the amount he has saved, along with the interest he has acquired, he's able to retire early, adopt several children, and grow old and happy with his wife. You see the difference? It's just, even though it's this boring subject as well, this inclusion of Mike into the story, it engages the audience just a little more. It keeps people's interest, because we have a natural tendency to tell stories. We represent information in our minds through story, and people relate to story emotionally, whereas people tend to not relate emotionally to lectures. It's just something that they grind through. And that's really what I want to incorporate into my style. My natural style, again, is to lecture the way I did with the stocks, but I really hope that I can improve my speaking repertoire by including storytelling. My ultimate style will be a blend of these two styles, lecturing and storytelling. I want you to think critically about your own communication styles. How much do you incorporate storytelling into your own speeches? Every person has their own unique signature style, but we must always balance creativity and uniqueness with effectiveness. The truth is, storytelling is just really effective. No matter what your style is, try to include storytelling into your own speaking repertoire. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.